That boy will Akwa Ibom. You will not suffer again. That boy will bring Atiku here. Where they call himself governor. Tell him enough is enough. Tell him enough is enough. He live in my backyard in Lagos. Akwa Ibom, you will not suffer again. That boy will bring Atiku here. Where they call himself governor. Tell him enough is enough. Tell him enough is enough.
That is His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel responding to a statement made by the all-progressive presidential candidate Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, who also, as a matter of the greatest level of disrespect, not just the governor of Akwa Ibom State, but on the Akwa Ibom people, described the governor as a boy. Now, let's look critically at this statement made by Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, and then get to feel your reactions. First and foremost, it is unheard of in the history of Nigeria that a sitting governor is being addressed in his own state by another candidate of another party as a boy. The most shocking and surprising thing is that party politics has blinded some state persons who, despite the fact that they were on grounds, while the presidential candidate of the APC was calling the state governor and indeed insulting Akwa Ibomites, they were cheering and clapping. What is your thoughts? What are your reactions? Let's get to hear you this morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. Yes, good morning, parliamentarian. Go ahead, you have the floor. Sorry, lost connection there. Please try and connect us back. And I'd like to reiterate the phone number is 0902 223 1011 or 0817-624-8565. The number again, 0902 223 1011 or 0817-624-8565. The motions that we have on the floor of the House. First reaction, as APC Ahmed Tinubu insults Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel and the people amid statement mute and chairs. Akwa Ibom people and the politics of insult and demeaning state image on the national scene. And last but not least, protesters barricade roads, stonebuhari's helicopter in Kano State. You can join the conversation on a Facebook page at Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Listen online at www.planet101fm.ng, and of course, join the conversation via the phone lines to be part of this case this morning. Now, some of the reactions that have come from Akwa Ibom people has been the fact that nobody outside the shores of Akwa Ibom State can insult a sitting governor and the state people while its statement and people cheer and fan and then praise the person who is insulting them, who is insulting their governor. Now, let's even look away from the personality of His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel as a person and look at the state, the position he occupies as the governor of Akwa Ibom State. That insult by Ahmed Tinubu was not just about Udom Emmanuel, but about the governorship seat of Akwa Ibom State. And it extends to everybody who has sat in that position and anybody who will sit in that position going forward. What is your reaction this morning? I'd like to really hear from Akwa Ibomites. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Parliament. All right, many thanks for joining us, Parliament Anthony. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. Morning.
I couldn't expect that a presidential candidate, can come to fight for their political party rally. They ending up by insulting our state governor and our people. It's unacceptable. It's very, very bad. Instead of you telling your supporters why you are coming and what you are going to do for the people of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, if our governor or whosoever that comes from Akwa Ibom was in Lagos to do such a thing that this guy, that man, Mohammed Tinubu, I don't think the world would have cared. But look at what he did to our governor. We don't like it, and we will never let us like it. It's a slap to our governor personality. I saw you know what happened in that everybody go. A very big to the meeting of you showing him. I'm a governor you doing. Please, I believe President Buhari is aware of this. And the APC governorship candidate is aware of this. And those who were in the stadium laughing when this man made that statement, they are aware of it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, many thanks for you joining us this morning. Now, I'd like to welcome the House Leader down to the mic, and of course, maybe parliamentarians will decide whether or not to sanction him for coming to the plenary late this morning. But Raymond Ita, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. It's the last plenary session for the month of January. How are you this morning?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to all parliamentarians. It's a very chilly morning, and maybe we needed the rains to calm down the heat from what we saw at the Akwa Ibom Stadium yesterday, and the whole reaction and drama that trailed Bola Ahmed Tinubu's comments when he described Governor Emmanuel as a boy, or a small boy. I think the governor is within his right to have equally responded in same measure, but we all love the fact that the governor actually kept his cool and responded as civil as possible by, of course, expressing his displeasure over the comments made by the APC presidential flag bearer, and the fact that it was disappointing to see some persons cheering the comments that he made. It's politicking taken way too far, and the degrading comments we've seen and the tantrums thrown by the APC presidential flag bearer and that of the PDP, we have to be very fair. I think it's the reason why a lot of us are not so satisfied, with the activities of these political parties in the course of campaigning. I think Tinubu's rhetoric has gone way too far. His public gaffes are an embarrassment not just to himself, but to the APC as a party, and I wonder if they know that Nigerians have actually taken stock and, taken into account everything they have heard in the course of this campaigning. It's been trails after trails, claims after claims, and counter statements after counter statements between the PDP and the APC. And we know very well there's not going to be any end in sight to this until the February 25 elections, which would finally put an end to, all of this unfortunate comments we're seeing from persons who want to become president and making statements that are rather unprecedented. This is not about taking sides in this argument. I think this was a high level of disrespect from Mr. Tinubu to a state governor who actually leased out the stadium to you, because I recall the initial rally that was supposed to take place long before yesterday's should have happened at the Unity Park. But the APC requested for the Gospel Akwa Stadium following information that President Buhari would be in town, and then that stadium was leased to them, and then you use it to insult the host governor of a state who came to campaign. I think it tells a lot, and perhaps it will inform the choices Akwa Ibom will have to make, not for the March 11 elections, maybe, but as far as the presidential polls is concerned, and as far as history tells, the APC has never won in Akwa Ibom State when the presidential elections are held, Mr. Speaker.
Well, it's a very big challenging scenario that we have to look at, but we have to look away from the different issues that are happening and look critically at the fact that some of the statements, particularly those who are seeking elective positions, were at the event grounds and then they were cheering. Now, let's look at the position, the office of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, the office of the governor itself. That office is not just about the person of Udom Emmanuel. It's not just about the person of former governor Godswill Akpabio. It's not about that of architect Obon Victor Ta, but that of Akwa Ibom people who have given the person who would sit there going forward the mandate to represent us. So the words on the street is an insult on the governorship seat is an insult on Akwa Ibom people. And it's very disheartening for Akwa Ibomites to know that some section of Akwa Ibomites were actually cheering and clapping.
It was disturbing. No, I saw the clips. I found it very funny that people were actually cheering, those comments. In other climes, I think a lot of persons would have walked out of the campaign rally, regardless the political party, you were supporting. So I found it very disturbing that people actually cheered him on. And we saw some respected Akwa Ibom politicians, though on the platform of the APC, equally mounting the stage to support. We're not going to shy away from mentioning names. The fact that I saw other governors of the APC on the stage and former governors as well, I found it disturbing to see Senator Godswill Akpabio equally cheering Bola Tinubu when he made that comment, because I could not imagine, say, Atiku coming to Akwa Ibom State to call Senator Akpabio in the event that he was a governor of the state as a boy. I'm sure he would not take lightly to that. So the fact that he cheered on, for me, showed you how bad, things have degenerated too, as far as the bad blood between these political parties are concerned. It's not about Governor Emmanuel per se as a person, but as you said, about the seats that he occupies. But why do I feel like this was a personal attack, not on the office of the governor, but on the person of the governor? Because as we all know, Governor Emmanuel is the head of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. It's the chairman of that council. So it's been all about around the country equally campaigning for Atiku Abubakar. And the PDP kick off their campaign year in the year as well, which is why I think it made reference to Governor Emmanuel bringing Atiku, to Akwa Ibom State. These were needless comments for me. And it sums up the level of campaigning that we've seen from the APC so far. Tinubu hasn't really told Nigerians what he hopes to do if he becomes president. He's rather gone around throwing shades at his political opponent. And I wonder what he hopes Akwa Ibomites or people would campaign on as far as the elections are concerned. The time is ticking and you have barely a few days to go before the polls come around. And if the only thing Nigerians have heard from Tinubu is his comic side, and the fact that he's very good at throwing tantrums at people, the APC should be really worried about February 25.
Well, indeed, the APC should be worried. And of course, the Akwa Ibomites should also be worried, because it's about time we move away from politics of bitterness, politics of diminishing each other's image and the state image, politics of not being able to look past our personal interest to looking at the people's interest, and then get to build the Akwa Ibom state and the Nigeria that we all can be proud of. Right about now, we'll take a quick pause and head out to our first recess. When we come back, more conversations on the phone lines via our Facebook page on the issue on the floor of the House. Please stay with us.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Welcome to the news update at 9. President Muhammadu Buhari unveils 10 megawatt solar energy project in Kombotso local government area of Kano State. Federal government of Nigeria backs U.S. visa ban on Nigerians undermining democracy. Newly appointed Director General of NYC, General Y.D. Ahmed, takes charge and unveils 5-point agenda. Resident doctors suspends planned nationwide strike. A former President Olusegun Obasanjo says appointment in government as quick and upsided based on nepotism and mediocrity with disregard for merit and competence. On the foreign scene, police reportedly targeted as Pakistan mosque bomb kills 59 people. In sports, Chelsea makes €105 million bid for Benfica's Fernandes. And that's the news updates for this hour on Planet 101.1 FM with you. I am Dara Udoma.
This is Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Our listeners are our most valuable assets, the bedrock of our business, the reason for our existence all these years. Thank you for your patronage and listenership. For inquiries, please call us on 0809 016 9101 or write to us at planet101fm@gmail.com.
It's simple. We lead, they follow. Planet 101.1 FM. That's just who we are.
Gathering of Stars Conference in February Outpouring Night 2023. Tagged Renew. Date Sunday 29th January to Friday 3rd February 2023. Ministering in Word, God's Servant, Reverend Intia R. Intia, Pastor Mrs. Ukamaka Intia, Reverend George Zunwa, Pastor Charles Sazua, and Pastor Yemi David. Time 6:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. daily. Sunday 6:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. and Friday Outpouring Night 9 p.m. till dawn. Ministering in High Praise and Spirit Lifting Worship, Chioma Jesus, Minister Priya Odede, and the Full Life Shepherd's Choir. This is a conference for destiny pacesetters, people of purpose, impact, people with burning visions, men and women in ministry and business. Get ready for life. Full Life Christian Center, steering men into the fullness of God.
This is the story of two friends who lived in the same neighborhood, Smart and Lucky. Lucky didn't accept the COVID-19 vaccine and stopped everyone in his house from being vaccinated. Before you can say Jack Robinson, there was a COVID-19 outbreak in the area. Lucky and two members of his family got infected. Lucky was sick and couldn't do his business for months. Now, even food to chop no day, his nephew got very sick. It did not end well at all.
We did all we could, but it didn't make it.
But Smart's case did different. Everybody in his family was vaccinated. Only one person got infected and his symptoms were minor. Who would you rather be, Smart or Lucky?
Protect yourself, family, friends, and community from COVID-19. Get vaccinated sharply.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Thursday with Ibom Air is a public enlightenment program designed to curb misinformation about Ibom Air's modus operandi and receive customers' feedback. This program is in partnership with TAF Media Group. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Cabin crew, you may now commence your in-flight duties.
Be assured that we can.
Work on those ways. Even when you think of the way attack traces the party, you hear that he's a sound-minded person. But when a person like Ahmed Tinubu, who is sitting for a presidential position, just he has not been able to grab it yet. But see, if he comes here to come and insult the good people of Akwa Ibom State in the name of politics, because if he slaps our governor, that is, he slapped the people of Akwa Ibom State. Maybe he don't know what he's coming for. He would have come to tell the masses, this is what I have for you in the near future. But all of a sudden, for him to come and call our governor, a boy, and maybe he has made a lot of unnecessary comments about him.
All right, many thanks. Please wrap up.
Said, plenty of people clap back and people laugh. They don't know what they are doing. Because immediately this can happen. You have no ambition. You have no any plan to do anything for Nigeria. If at all, this is what it is.
All right, many thanks to you. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Hello, good morning. My name is Felix.
Welcome.
Thank you. Just want to comment on what Tinubu said yesterday. It's unfair. And it's just like you going to someone else and insult the honor of the secretary of the star officer as shadows. It's unfair. I don't like it. We own this state. Just a visitor should have respect the custom and tradition of our state. We will have right to go to, or if our own state as he claims, let's go to our own state to go and insult him. So I don't like it. It's unfair. As the elder said, man, you know how what should be constructive, not coming to insult everybody in the name of politics. I don't like it. Thank you. That's my contribution.
All right, thank you. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning.
I'm calling from you.
Welcome, Parliamentarian Amniakan. The House Leader is also here.
Welcome.
All right, go ahead.
From what I think people have been insulted. APC coming to our conference is boiled by someone. And everything that we use will put in place and make sure a safe campaign here in Akwa Ibom. But in thanking him for the gesture in the history of politics that are not equal with but give equal opportunity. Continue insulting him, and Akwa Ibom might, prominent Akwa Ibom might were but I think the word is that event should be disrupted. But I think
all right, wrap up, please.
I will say we have a governor love peace who understands that only by having peace is when we will have development.
All right, thank you.
And if development, I think we will have enough peace in our country.
Many thanks for joining us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, the Leader of the Parliament. Good morning, fellow parliamentarians. I am the first and here I'm calling from you. Mr. Speaker, I am quite sad this morning. Since yesterday, I have not been happy with myself. Mr. Speaker, I think the statement of Bola as a progenitor of blue, blah, 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 is so insulting to the generality of Akwa Ibom people. Mr. Speaker, it is absurd that Akwa Ibom persons were in that stadium, heard the progenitor of blue blood insulting our number one citizen in this state. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it's not just about the personality of Governor Udom Emmanuel, but the office. We voted, majority of persons that voted for the governor 2015 and 2019. That insult went down to them as well. I am inclusive, Mr. Speaker. That is why I am commenting this morning. Mr. Speaker, I had mobilized yesterday to get into that stadium and flop Tinubu.
Please, all right, parliamentarian, let's be guided, please.
Son of the governor. I wanted to flop Tinubu yesterday in that stadium. He cannot come to our forum and insult our sensibility.
Please let's be properly guided. I know we are very, very much angry as a people this time because the insult on the state, on the governorship seat, is an insult on all of compromise. But please let's guard our emotions and not go ahead making comments that will go against the guidelines of the MBC and the regulatory agencies in Nigeria. Let's be properly guided. Yes, it is painful, and we all understand that. Probably at this point in time, I'll head back to the House leader. Let's get to feel the polls of parliamentarians via our Facebook page in the comment section.
Well, they've equally been coming in good measure. Let's start with Innocent Daniel, who said, "Good morning, Mr. Speaker and parliamentarians. Tinubu insulted our governor. He lacks the manners to lead Nigerians and Nigeria at large." Namti Ita says, "I think we need God-fearing leaders to lead us and not demeaning politicians who come to lie to us in order to win elections. We're all praying for a better Nigeria and Akwa Ibom come the 2023 election and not money politics." Noya Idiong says, "Good morning, parliamentarians. Please, I think stoning the helicopter that was carrying President Buhari is not good, and peaceful protest will have been better. For Tinubu's campaign in Akwa Ibom yesterday, with his promise of completing Ibom Deep Sea Port if elected, my only worry here is how he will keep to his promise if elected as well. The time will tell." Bro John says it's rather unfortunate that the political rally of the APC was a mere jamboree, where the essence of their gathering was to present realistic manifestos than attacking the PDP. Akwa Ibom State people need orientation on what politics is all about, but attempted to speak out the anger caused by their present predicament. Stoning President Buhari's helicopter in Kano is unfortunate to say. And I think a lot of persons would agree to an extent, because the essence of holding presidential rallies or campaigns is an opportunity for you to present your manifestos to people in diverse ways, because we're talking about touring 36 states, referring to the presidential candidate vying for the seat of president. You have to go around 36 states and you only have one opportunity to speak to the people of that state when you get there. We should be hearing about programs and policies and not the blame game or attacking your political opponent. The 2023 election has been largely premised on the fact that people want to vote for candidates and not necessarily the political parties that they're fronting their ambitions on. So when you go and you have 30 minutes to address a crowd and you spend 28 to 29 of them throwing shades, then you really have a problem. And I wonder if the heads of the campaign or the APC PCC team did not do their homework well. This has been going on for some time now, and one would have thought that perhaps Tinubu would have been called to order, at least by those within his circles, that look, it's time for you to start talking about things and forget about attacking people, because the elections are drawing very, very closer. So until a lesson is learnt in this regard, then we're likely to continue seeing this. Let's continue with some of the comments. Christopher James says, all it said, okay, and it all said so Udom Emmanuel is living in his backyard in Lagos. All right. Inyabon Hussein says, good morning, Mr. Speaker, the leader and parliamentarians. On Tinubu's comment, too bad and unfortunate. So in his mind, the young ones have no chance. The same mentality that has made him so entitled to everything in Western Nigeria, and now he wants to broaden his territory. God bless Governor Emmanuel for his mature disposition. And Udemega Ebu says, Mr. Speaker, insults during electioneering is part of Nigeria politics, and it's quite sad how we got to this point. Here in the States, those who should educate others are even the worst. Have we not been listening to what comes out of supposed aides of the governor in the state? All right, we'll take a break there on the comments and get back with most later.
All right, more coming from the phone lines who have been buzzing for still a number of times. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Good morning, the leader of the House.
Good morning.
This is Friday on a Tuesday from Medianigo.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, let me talk about yesterday's. Mr. Speaker, the God doing. Because I said and I will continue to say. 2023 is a year that God wants to reveal himself to all the political actors, both in Nigeria and Akwa Ibom State. So I also wish our full voters to keep their PCCs so that day we will decide who will govern us, both the Nigeria and the Akwa Ibom State. Because I know with this, we know who to vote and we know who to govern us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Akwa Ibom should pardon and take it as they see. God bless us. Thank you.
Many thanks to you for joining us. Indeed, of course, it's a big lesson curve for all Nigerians in Akwa Ibom as we get to access these respective politicians. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. Hello, good morning.
This is Kanimo from you.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning. Mr. Speaker, I want to say I'm disturbed because if at all an old man would have come to, would have gone for a certain rally, then he cannot address the public and show his manifesto, then I think it's so sudden because he's the most aging man at the moment in this year's campaign. So I think it is sudden. But that calls for me to say that I don't see any good leader among all the presidential candidates, except because I don't know Bang at all. But as for all these three men, I don't give it to them. None of them will give us effective government. Thank you very much.
All right, many thanks for joining us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Thank you for having me once again, Mr. Speaker.
All right, I like to quickly recaution parliamentarian Defrek. Be very mindful of the language.
Mr. Speaker, yes, thank you for that correction, but it's very hurting. But be that as it may, I think it's imperative to control emotions at this moment. Mr. Speaker, it's clearing as well that Tinubu has nothing to offer the people of Nigeria. Upon all the questions fields to Tinubu, all his presidential campaigns have been going all across the nation. I don't hear Tinubu mention a strategy on how we come to salvage the quagmire here in Nigeria. Instead, he's been attacking oppositions. Mr. Speaker, we all know the history of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a killer of democracy. He kills democracy every opportunity given to him. And I keep on saying that the worst form of democracy is better than the best form of military government.
Now let me get to hear that. We know that Ahmed Bola Tinubu was the Lagos State governor, and at no point was it ever mentioned that he has destroyed democracy in Lagos State.
Make investigations. The judiciary in Lagos State, when he was a governor, make investigations. Arsenals of government were used to hunt oppositions. Mr. Speaker, you could not tell me sincerely that you are unaware of this fact. Mr. Speaker, Tinubu is not a promoter of democracy, and I want all Akwa Ibom people to listen to me right now. Please, Akwa Ibom people, Tinubu is not a promoter of democracy.
Well, it's left for Akwa Ibomites to decide and Nigerians to check and verify what you're saying. But I'm not aware of any move by Tinubu ever in the history of Nigeria to move away from the democracy that is currently in practice. Coming back to some more calls from parliamentarians. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to the leader of the Parliament in the House. Parliament. This is David Akwa calling from Kano. Yes, technically, that what I do believe that not the Mama who are moving to a rally of any presidential candidate are going there to put that very person. Some of them are going there to check and to see and hear what is done there. So I will say, the more that going to the presidential rally of Tinubu did not show that they were going there to vote him. I will say that the way is addressing the country and addressing people wherever he found the country is not acceptable. We do find each what we call each speech in whenever he is speaking in any way in this very country. He used to attack Peter, he used to attack Atiku Abubakar when he has the time to speak to Nigeria on what to do. Therefore, I will assume that the way it was going by was not good. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, many thanks for joining us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. Good morning. Your name, parliamentarian, and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Wari. What I'm saying is that in politics, you can use any language. That's what is called politics. They have attacked Tinubu, and people have attacked, or they have attacked him. What is wrong in Tinubu attacking them back? Why are we playing on emotion? If somebody comes to Planet Radio just to make a position so that the governors will favor him, we should be very, very careful on what we do and whipping emotion. This is politics. Do people know what politics is all about?
All right, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, parliamentarian. Let me ask you a question, parliamentarian. Are you from Akwa Ibom State?
Hello?
Are you from Akwa Ibom?
Of course, why not?
Okay, now,
this is politics.
This is politics. Is politics defined as insult on the personalities or insult on the office of the respective governors and the different elective positions? Those similar things. Hasn't the Frank Kenyang ever insulted anybody?
Our people are in Lagos. You bring Jagaban here and you think people are safe in Lagos.
All right, it's very important that we clarify. We did not, and of course, when Different Kenyang, parliamentarian Different Kenyang mentioned how he felt, we had to first and foremost caution him and then cut him off. And calling back, he probably conducted himself in line with the orders of the House. But let's get one thing clear. Whatever happened at the Nest of Champions yesterday, and the insult on the office of the governor of Akwa Ibom State is not just about Udom Emmanuel, it's about all of us. If I'm to speak as an Akwa Ibomite, I feel highly insulted because I know you cannot go to another person's territory and then insult the owners of the land and go away. The APC family in Akwa Ibom State should issue an apology to Akwa Ibomites.
Well, I think it's rather disturbing when people want to defend what is not defendable. With respect to the gentleman who called a short while ago, claiming it's politics, and so people should be allowed to throw insults or shades at others. You know, I would have loved it if Tinubu kept his rhetoric directly at Atiku, because so far we've seen Atiku equally make degrading comments about Tinubu in the course of the campaign. They've both done so. I also heard him say Peter Obi has been equally, attacking Tinubu and other candidates. Not holding forth for the Labour Party presidential candidate, but I don't think there's ever been a time we've heard him use derogatory remarks either about Atiku or Tinubu, except attacking issues which is what Nigerians want to see. So, for instance, if he says Tinubu is not capable to, improve Nigeria's economy, premised on what he saw him do as governor of Lagos for 8 years, then that's not an insult. He's simply targeting issues. It's different when you hear Atiku claim that Tinubu is a drug lord, and then Tinubu, on the other hand, says Atiku is a thief, he's going to sell off all the nation's assets if he make president. These are derogatory remarks we should not be hearing from people who want to be president. You want to be the leader of the country, and then you're throwing tantrums at people. Then who's to say you cannot do same to the electorate, who you would eventually govern if we hand you that mandate? These are the things we should be talking about. So for me, Mr. Tinubu should have just stuck to his better trade of words with Atiku and not, involve Governor Udom Emmanuel in it, because it really, really wasn't good. So people need to deal with this, and we need to deal with this issue and deal with it as quickly as possible. I like the fact that you said the APC in Akwa Ibom should actually issue an apology, to Akwa Ibomites. I feel that should be in order, but I don't know if that's going to come, because I saw them on stage clapping when Tinubu made this comment. They were even dancing and waving the brooms around. I found it very disturbing and very funny. This entitlement thing that people seem to have about this election. Tinubu reiterated it in good deals yesterday. It's famous Emilio Khan slogan. You cannot, there's a saying that you can't be more Catholic, than the Pope. And equally, the last caller equally said we have a Akwa Ibomite living in Lagos. I don't think you have a Akwa Ibomite go to Lagos and make, such comments about the Lagos state governor, and you perhaps will not find yourself in trouble. Recently, we saw a young man arrested because he made some comments about the First Lady on Twitter. So it tells you people don't take statements like this for granted. But because it's coming from two individuals who seem to have some sort of lack of love for each other, then the course of campaigning has been characterized by derogatory remarks, as we saw yesterday. And trust me, Mr. Speaker, that's not the end of it, because the campaign train will move on to other states, and we'll continue seeing these public gaffes by Tinubu continue. And it begs the question, who is the head of the APC's PCC? It is the Presidential Campaign Council. Who is advising him? Who writes a script? Most times we see most of the campaigns, people write for him, on pieces of paper. He referred to Atiku yesterday as the Senate president. I think he had to be corrected that he was vice president. These are things Nigerians are watching out for. And if you're not concerned about this as a party or political candidate, then you should not even be in the race at all.
Now, House Leader, at this point in time, as an Akwa Ibomite, the big question I am asking myself is, let's look at the governorship candidate of the APC, Obama Kano Dofia, is seeking to exist himself, or is seeking for that exact office that has been faulted. So let's say he was the one in that position. I'm trying to picture if he would actually stand beside Ahmed Bola Tinubu, what listen to him insulting him as a person and the office that he occupies and the entire people of Akwa Ibom State, and not say a word about it, and rather join the fanfare.
I think he personally would not love to see such. I did give such instance as well, because Senator Akpabio was equally on the podium, and I did make reference to the fact that, let's say you have an Akpabio as governor of the state, and the presidential flag bearer of an opposing party comes to the state to make such remarks about you. I'm not sure he would have found that funny. Well, maybe because of the personality of Tinubu, it's difficult to say. Maybe the governor should have issued a warrant of arrest. I mean, you can't shy away from the fact that when you go to rallies like this, people make these kind of remarks. Reminds me about the U.S. election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. It was riddled with, derogatory comments left, right, center. And I think that's what the APC and the PDP's presidential candidates, with due respect to both men, that's what they've actually brought to us. That's the style of campaigning we've seen so far. And I keep reiterating that Nigerians are watching. Well, the APC may not want to apologize to Udom Emmanuel for the statement he made yesterday. And as I said earlier on, it was a great spirit and attitude displayed by the governor with his manner of response yesterday. He felt, insulted. He felt angry. And he was within his rights to actually speak out. And the fact that he spoke quite maturely too, for me, it seems to have won him even more supporters than now. So those are miscalculations that the APC, seems to, look into. I was even worried that when the APC comes to the state, they'll be more concerned about the fact that the APC in Akwa Ibom has internal fracas that they need to deal with court cases about who should be the flag bearer of the party in the gubernatorial elections. These are the issues I thought the national leadership of the party would be coming to settle. But they've only come to increase matters or make matters worse for the APC here in the state going into the elections. They've not even begun the campaigning, walk towards store and all of that, because of the fact that for some time we were not sure or certain who would fly the party's flag. And the few opportunities they've had to finally stand before Akwa Ibomites, they shot themselves in the foot.
All right, we'll continue with this conversation. So the phone lines are buzzing. So when we come back on the flip side of 9:30, we'll like to hear a lot more from Akwa Ibomites. Right about now, we'll take a second recess and bring you the BBC, The World in 2 minutes, and a few commercials. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Planet in partnership with the BBC. And now, BBC Minutes.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. Emergency workers in the Pakistani city of Peshawar have recovered more bodies from a mosque that was targeted by a suicide bomber on Monday. Over 80 people are now known to have been killed, many of them police. The IMF has upgraded its global economic growth forecast to 2.9%. It also says that inflation has passed its peak. The agency says the scrapping of China's zero-COVID policy has paved the way for an accelerated recovery. Schools, transport and public services in France are expected to be badly hit by the second day of strikes this month over planned pension reform. The government says its goal of raising the official retirement age to 64 is non-negotiable. Police chiefs in the US city of Memphis say more officers could face disciplinary measures over the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols. So far, 5 have been charged with murder, a 6th has been sacked and another suspended. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, will travel to Ramallah in the occupied West Bank later for talks with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. On Monday, Mr. Blinken held what he described as candid discussions with the Israeli Prime Minister. Pope Francis is setting off on the first papal visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo since the 1980s. Later in the week, he'll be joined by church leaders from Britain when he travels to South Sudan. Australia's Nuclear Safety Agency has joined the search for a missing radioactive capsule. Only 6 millimetres across, it fell from a truck along a vast stretch of highway in Western Australia. The Indian businessman Gautam Adani has fallen out of the top 10 of a list of the world's wealthiest people. Billions of dollars has been wiped off his fortune in less than a week. BBC News.
The World in 2 minutes at 7:30 GMT.
Before, when I call my guy, before I talk, my man, how far? I go here.
You have less than 1 minute for your call.
Auto waiting. But with Airtel double, now steady relating.
My guy, our house, our area, our everything.
Stay connected for longer with the Airtel double plan that gives you 70 minutes talk time plus 3 gigabytes data for just 1,000 naira. Dial *141#. Select my area now.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The People's Parliament is brought to you courtesy of JIA Outdoor Services. JIA Outdoor Services, a member of the Barricade Group, owns and manages billboards and advertising services in and outside Akwa Ibom State. Why not visit them today or call this number 0803-741-2340. JIA Outdoor Services, a member of the Barricade Group.
Iyo ngoma bubu kirinem dum iba iram di bu iba nem dum ita bangutong tap bangutong gup sembitang se ufo tum tap media group bun senior planet FM Spectrum Television emanation finito Tang 102.7 FM. Sinaman sa sangan tumke kolado ke ta freven bosebinam. Abido ki ko kangan. Anyam ke sebo ki makara all indigenous language radio station. Emena mebo Taft Media Group. Al packet of Planet 101.1 FM. Ayori baro Spectrum Television. Ayori tadum Tang 102.7 FM. Ekene tang. Iyame. Bento diagado.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for joining us, and of course it's a platform where you get to air your opinions on different issues affecting us as a people in Akwa Ibom State, the South region, and of course Nigeria. And yes, we have a lot of comments coming in, but we'll start this conversation with more calls from parliamentarians this morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning, parliamentarian.
Good morning to our House leader. This welcome the Prince Abanike.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, this morning, I will not blame Siwaji Tinubu for that comment that we see as an insult to the CW governor. I will not blame him on that. But I will blame this.
Let
me finish, Mr. Speaker, please. We did our general sanitation. That was Saturday. By now, we're supposed to do maintenance, turnaround maintenance of facilities. Look at the next of champion. If you go there, you will see a manhole being open. We would have used that opportunity to see that manhole. We would have not used that privilege to come and insult the people of the Akwa Ibom State. What have they done? The APC government have done to the people of Akwa Ibom State. That's not my concern. But my concern, general concern, is that while Tinubu was there, he said when we make Alhaji Atiku Abubakar Senate president, he sold our refiner, sold our property, government-owned property. You see, in that case, I have been saying that the Nigerian constitution talk about capacity. If someone is incapacitated, he should not be signing for a position of the governor or the president. I thank the media house, the Planet Essence, for giving the people opportunity to talk their mind, because some of us, we are better than them, but they just have opportunity to be there. Are you getting me? How can you now say that Atiku was a Senate president? That means that Asiwaju Tinubu Jagaban supposed to subject himself for medical evaluation so that we do not make mistake for another round of medical carnival or pilgrimage.
All right, wrap up, please.
So what am I saying is that Asiwaju Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, need to subject himself for medical evaluation. Let us see if it is suffering for amnesia. So so we can find a solution before election.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Good morning, the House Leader and other parliamentarians. Thank you for having me to this plenary. I'm Comrade in a Striker. Mr. Speaker, looking at the three motions at the floor of the plenary this morning, says reaction as APC presidential candidate Ahmed Tinubu insults Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel, calling the governor a boy. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this medium and advise Ahmed Tinubu and other candidates that insulting and attacking others during political campaign is no longer tenable and inappropriate. Campaigns should be based on issues and not name calling, character assassinations, and insult. On the second motion of the floor of the plenary this morning, Akwa Ibom people and politics of insult and demeaning state image on national scene. Mr. Speaker, my reaction is that as we portray our state, so will others outside the state take us as we portray ourselves, whether positively or negatively, because as you make your day, so will you lie on it. So the people of the state should be conscious of the image they portray the state, so that when they go outside the state, people will not look down on us. On the third motion of the floor of the House, protesters barricade roads and stone President Buhari's helicopter in Kano. Mr. Speaker, this might be as a result of frustration due to hardship in the country, with increase in price of petrol, gas, and other food items. I think the people are trying to vent their anger, but I want to advise Nigerians that they should not take laws into their hands. Stoning the president is not the best option. I'm Comrade in the Striker. Thank you for having me.
All right, many thanks for joining us. Back to you, House Leader, for some more comments on our Facebook page.
Yeah, so quickly, Mr. Speaker, before we head to the comments, in response to the last two reactions we've heard, first off, about the president's helicopter being attacked, we saw a statement from the publicity secretary of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Bayo Onanuga, late yesterday, claiming that the report around the attack on Mr. President in Kano was actually false. He even said the PDP spokesperson who had been posing around this information should be arrested by the police and the DSS. The APC is denying that the president's helicopter was actually attacked. So it raises questions as to where this information eventually emanated from. So it's something we're still keeping tabs on, just to be very clear whether or not this actually happened. It's the second time we're hearing something like this. First we heard it was even in the president's home state of Katsina, that he had some angry mob throw clubs and stakes at his convoy. Again, the APC had denied that. So late yesterday, we saw the statement from Bayo Onanuga claiming the president's helicopter was actually not attacked. So whether there's truth to that or not, we do not know. But I'm sure in the coming hours or days, we'll get full clarification, on this. So for me, if it actually did happen, I think it's something people should be cautioned, from doing. President Buhari has always made it pretty clear that his personal ambition is to ensure that Nigerians know that his administration respects them and do what is possible, but possibly best for their welfare and interest before he leaves office. As much as the jury is still out on whether he has lived up to his campaign promises after 2015 or 2019 is concerned, we do not know. But if there's one thing we do know, I think President Buhari is quite committed to the idea of having one Nigeria. So if he has shown that he wants to respect Nigerians, and so far as the administration is concerned, in spite of the previous concerns we had about whether the military man in him, in quote, would play out in the course of his presidency, we didn't see anything like that, or we've not seen anything like that in the course of his presidency. So I think if something like that did happen in Kano yesterday, for me, it's quite sad, but we still have to wait for investigations to unravel the truth behind those reports.
Well, as far as Nigerians are concerned, we've been a part of the federal government, the presidency issuing statements on several occasions, and then, of course, shortly after that, we get to hear rebuttals from the same agencies who issued those statements, claiming they were not directly issued from them. And shortly before the president's visit, after his visit to his own state, there were security reports that the president, advising the president, which of course surface across different news media platforms, alleging that if the president visits Kano, there were indications that there might be violence. And of course, we saw that playing out. And it is only for Nigerians will say it's only right that the APC will come out in an attempt to, set face that these situations didn't actually happen. While trying to get the comments on our Facebook page, let's take one more comment from parliamentarians. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. And the House Leader.
And the House Leader.
Yeah.
That's very nice. And so for the time you're calling from Port Harcourt, River State.
All right, welcome. How's Port Harcourt this morning?
It's exciting, so exhilarating and fascinating as well.
All right, go ahead.
I want to lend my voice to what was trending yesterday in Akwa Ibom, as I learned, and I saw it on net, and as the DYG2 came to Akwa Ibom and insulted the governor, that is an aberration. I quite support that. I mean, they should be thanking the governor for having relented relinquishing the stadium for his campaign. I mean, some people wouldn't love to do that. I don't know. We should not be taking. People should not take Akwa Ibom simplicity for. Humility for simplicity or generosity for simplicity. I mean, Akwa Ibom people are not simple. He was just trying to help him come to do his campaign. For him to have done the campaign and I think that insulting the school that paid him in. I don't think that is very healthy to develop Akwa Ibom. I think Tinubu should tender an unreserved apology to develop Akwa Ibom and also to the governor in particular for coming here and standing on the head of a governor and insulting. I mean, it's very bad. He couldn't have done that in River State. He wouldn't have come to River State, but he wouldn't even have the access to the stadium to start with, let alone the governor of the state. And I mean, that's very bad. Two, we talked about the president being molested and being stoned, and even at his Katina hometown. That is true, but they want to cover it up. He was stoned in the Kano state. He still want to cover it up, so that people will not use it against the government. That's why they have the press image launderers who come and launder, go and tell stories, come and even lie on top of this. That has never happened. So that people will not say because of his bad government and all that. That's why he's being stoned. For the Naira extension, I so much tell the governor of the central bank that is not doing well. He should have stood by his word because of when you see things like that coming to fore and the people of the parliament, the House of Parliament, the two houses of Parliament hammering on that thing. That means that thing really hit them, and that's why they still want to change. They know that they are not doing it for the sake of a common man. They are doing it for their own personal interest. So they should have stood his ground and should have even shifted on even a day, even a second. Because that thing doesn't concern any poor man here in the country. It's all about the elect. The elected people there, and of course the elite. So they know what they are doing. They are pretending to have done services to.
All right. Thank you very much, parliamentarian.
Have a 12 day. Thank you so very much for having me over there.
Many thanks for joining us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning, parliamentarian.
Good morning. God bless you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Godwin from the Quran.
Go ahead.
Good morning, guests in the house. I think that the guest today. Good morning, guests. Good morning,
the House Leader.
Okay, House Leader. Good morning, Mr. House Leader.
Yes, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Honourable Parliamentarian. At least I want to say on the aspect of the coming of the presidential candidates of APC yesterday, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate. Was a good one, was a successful, one. Firstly, I'm not a member of any political party, but I want to use this medium to advise Nigerians, my fellow citizens of Nigeria, to keep their calm, to maintain their watch, not to use this political era to destroy everything, to destroy whatever that comes their way, to create war. I've faced a lot, Mr. Speaker. I've faced a lot. It's very, very bad that human beings will talk like this. I think it's just like a school. It's just like church. Political parties, anyone that somebody has interest will get to.
yes, people should stop talking. You should stop, condemning other people. It's not good. After very soon, if you think of whether 1 month or so, the politics will be over. We are all human beings. We need to come together, Mr. Speaker. That's my take. In fact, I'm not really happy about the way Nigerians are speaking. That's my take. Thank you.
Many thanks. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Well, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
It's welcome.
Good morning to the leader of the parliament. I'm sure you can hear me, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. This Congress, Major, I'm calling from Udom, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the leading headlines today concerning the yesterday campaign by APC, presidential campaign in Akwa Ibom. And the Speaker, the other day, I made a statement. I said that Tinubu, along the APC generally, is not campaigning. Can someone attack me so that I would have made such a statement? Why do I say so? If you watch, like the other on Saturday, Tinubu was at Sankara. When he just got on stage, he said, you love me. They say, go and get your PVC. That was the end of the rally. They sang national anthem and they left. He was in bed with the other time and he was shouting, you love me, this and that. And when he was in KB, he said, I want to dance, just give me music, let me dance. And that was all. You don't tell the people what they need to hear. And aside from that, they are attacking people. Like the other day, when he was at Anambra State, he said that he don't want to mention of the other one. What he gave a tip of it, that to mention his name this way, that he's giving statistics, he's doing statistics is the job. And the entire Atiku, and Atiku is always on the run, that he continue to run. What about if by prevention become the president? That means he will bring unity. Like now, look at what he said in Akwa Ibom State. They're getting me. Even many of the things that he said there, is the people that were telling him, like when he mentioned the Bombay people, if you can replay that audio, then you hear someone was telling him, say Bombay people, and he said it. But I can tell the that with due respect to Tinubu, that psychologically and mentally, the man is not stable. And because of his self-statue, we are getting me. So we need to be very careful. Come 2023, who we are going to give the power. But I'm happy with the response of our governor. Although our governor, they agree with him totally. Also, I'm not a PDP member. I don't belong to any political party. They're saying that his own principle, I think we have not been attacking people. I don't believe on that. I think I've been making on some of the unpalatable statements.
Right, thank you very much, Parliamentarian.
But I'm happy. This is Major. I'm calling from Udom.
All right, back to you, House Leader, for a few comments before we excuse you on the floor.
Yes, it's really, really disturbing. We all knew what Tinubu said yesterday would generate diverse reactions, but I still find it rather disturbing that there are some persons who still feel that there was nothing wrong, with what he said. And he equally made a striking comment. I played on this in my mind throughout the night when he said after Atiku defected from the PDP, he came over to their camp. And according to him, they brushed him up and then eventually gave him a ticket to run and all of that. So you knew that Atiku had questionable characters right from 1999. You've been saying so, but then he defected to your party and you stood shoulder to shoulder with him and endorsed him to run for presidency. It raises lots of question marks about your capacity and, most importantly, your intentions. So again, I'll reiterate, on Tinubu's close advisors, perhaps talking to him and try to alter the course of his campaigning before things get worse, if they've not already gotten worse. Let's get some final sets of reactions. Bishop Perfect says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. It was annoying hearing the APC presidential flag bearer talking down on the respected high profile of the governor of Akwa Ibom State in the person of Mr. Udom Emmanuel. I think such mannerism should be put in check, and I'm pleading with Tinubu supporters to always pen down the speech of their principal in order to avoid future occurrences. Secondly, I think the youth in Kano State should be called to order. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria doesn't deserve such humiliating treatment. Thank you so much. Bishop is joining us from Calabar. And this one says, okay, I think we've already dealt with this one. Mayor Abasi Adam says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Ahmed Tinubu insulting my governor is an insult on all Akwa Ibom people. And I will not, or I will tolerate that he should know that Uyo no be Lagos. All right. The streets are eventually coming out. Hope Umar Jr. says Tinubu has been known for insulting personalities rather than telling Nigerians how he intends to better the country. Politics of propaganda and blackmail is childish and archaic. On the contrary, Tinubu has just added more power to the governor to do the unexpected come 2023. I wish you threw more light on that. Udwak Mikelbo says Tinubu can't be Nigeria's president. Udom Emmanuel gave him a stadium for free, and he landed in our airport also for free. Now calling the governor a boy. Okay, it looks like it showed that we Akwa Ibomites are nothing in Nigeria. Okay, Marina Augustina says Tinubu insulting the governor is not a surprise to me. This is Nigerian politics, where politicians feel that the only way to achieve their political ambitions is by throwing derogatory comments on opposition parties. This has become political culture of Nigeria. We're hoping it changes and changes for the better indeed, Mr. Speaker.
All right, many thanks, House Leader. And I'd like to, on that note, just take one last comment here before we head back to the phone lines. Parliamentarian Patrick Bassi says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Attacking individuals during campaign cuts across political parties. So Tinubu should not be nailed. Now, it is very important for us to know that as a people, our image is carried by one man whom we all elected into office, or who we all elect into office. And for now, that one man is Governor Udom Emmanuel. And so an insult on the governorship seat is an insult on all past, present, and future. Is an insult on all at home and in diaspora. And no one man, no single individual, irrespective of where he's from, irrespective of his political status, irrespective of his stand in the society, has any right to insult the Akwa Ibom people, to insult our image, to insult our collective heritage. And then we as a people, some of us are still blind by party politics to know that it is absolutely wrong, absolutely intolerable, absolutely should be condemned. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, and good morning to the House Leader.
Good morning. Go ahead.
I want to make a comment. There is something which I understand, that being the main issue for president of Nigeria. See, the way we capitalize on some words in Nigeria is very bad. Military journalists. Journalists are the one of the problem that we have in Nigeria. When issue comes, they don't use that issue the same way that issue comes. They use that issue in a different way that people capitalize on that word. If the way that church can change their motives in Nigeria will be more better. They are the ones who causing more problems in this country. Because of the way people want their paper to sell, they want their name to be known, certain things to come. I'm not a politician. I'm not playing any party. But let journalists mind what the way they use to catalyze some word that they capture on air or on any reader's mouth. Let them mind the way they use the word so they can be pleased to others, not to destroy the nation apart. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us. But I'd like to ask you a question. Who is destroying the nation? Is it the journalists or the politicians issuing the statement? We as journalists are only condemning what needs to be condemned, and we are saying the truth where the truth needs to be heard, as the fourth headset of the ramp. But it's about time for us to put an end to today's plenary session. Many thanks to you parliamentarians for joining us. And on the streets, what's from the street of Akwa Ibom State, Ahmed Tinubu of the APC needs to issue a public apology to Akwa Ibomites. He needs to issue a public apology to the governorship of Akwa Ibom State. He needs to issue a public apology to Nigerians, because an insult to one state is an insult to every state. And also the leadership of the APC in Akwa Ibom State, it's about time they know that anybody who insults the governorship seat is insulting them as well, because one day, if now, in the nearest future, sometime, maybe somebody from the APC will also sit on that seat, and it's going to share in its own part of that insult. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Akwa Ibom State. And God bless you. It's bye-bye from the House Leader, Raymond Ita, and myself, Francis Edet. Bye-bye.